It's 6 o'clock in the heart of the Texas Hill Country, and you're listening to Eat, Play, Live with me, Andi P, the show that's chasing dreams and crushing goals. And my goal here is to help you live a healthier, happier, more balanced life. Which is the most important of those? Healthier, happier, or more balanced? Yeah, I don't think we can choose. I think we got to do the best we can with all three. And tonight we're going to look at a way we can get some help with that from our good friend, technology. But is it? Is it our friend? Technology is a useful servant, but a dangerous master. Yep, we're going to talk about that. So let's take a look at the good, the bad, and the unbelievable ways that technology is changing the way we eat, play, and live. It affects everything we do. So we're going to start with, of course, the way we eat. And when you think about it, as important as air and water are to our existence, so too are food and technology. Did you know the average American consumes nearly 1 ton of food every year? I don't know why that kind of grosses me out, the thought of that. That's just so much food. But I mean, of course, we have to have it. So what are you consuming 1 ton of? That's a good question. So, all right, let's take a look. I looked up some ways, 8 ways to be precise, that tech is changing our food, okay? It's changing the way we find it, the way we consume it, and the way we get rid of it. That's probably something you hadn't really thought of. So we're going to start with GMOs. And I am not going to debate because I know that this can be a hot topic, but it is a form of technology, right? It's biotechnology that has been used to create genetically modified organisms. And it's been pretty critical in food technology, but also pretty notorious, right? A GMO is something that's been genetically engineered to have certain traits, like maybe an herbicide resistance, pest resistance, increased nutritional value, right? So there can be a good thing if they're increasing the nutrition. So the very first GMO tomato was approved by the FDA in 1994. So they've been around for a while, and within 5 years, over 100 million acres were farmed with genetically engineered crops. What else do you know that in 5 years has grown to that capacity? That's just kind of hard to wrap your head around. Another form of technology in our food is precision agriculture. Have you heard of that? It's also called satellite farming, and it refers to the use of GPS tracking systems and satellite imagery to monitor crop yields, soil levels, weather patterns, increasing efficiency on the farm. We've come a long way, baby. So precision technology is increasingly important as the issue of feeding 9 billion people are expected to live on this planet by the year 2050. 9 billion people we have to be able to feed. And that's creeping closer. Another type of technology, drones. We see drones quite a bit nowadays. Well, they are becoming a popular alternative to extra farm hands or satellites. So yeah, we may be losing some jobs to drones, but the advanced technology is making those drones pretty darn productive. Farmers can locate precisely where a deceased or damaged plant is, and they can more accurately release fertilizer and pesticides. They can take photos, have immediate information. So it's just amazing the things that we can do with technology to just farming is not easy, right? I don't want to do it, and probably you don't either. And that's why, farming has really decreased over the years, but technology is making it easier, more doable. Definitely, I want to say improving. Some people might argue with me, but changing. Let's say it's changing the way farming business is done. What about sensors? Yeah, sensors are very important to food technology. There are systems that collect data on soil content using wireless sensors to reduce water waste or prevent the overlap of fertilizer or seed. We have technology that can monitor insects, analyze data on crops remotely using GPS coordinates and little wireless sensors. Sensors in grain bins allow farmers to monitor the temperature and moisture of levels remotely. So yeah, even farmers can work remote. See, I always say we can all work remote if we just figure it out. That's right. Goals. Food waste tracking. This one was really interesting to me because it bugs me to see food being wasted. It just, whether it's just an individual, whether it's my kids wasting food, but also even more so when you see a big event and they have tons of food left over and you know that food is just going to be trashed. So much more could be being done with that, and it is in a lot of places. So we know that 40% of America's food is thrown away each year. 40%. But with the help of social media and new technology, this number can be drastically reduced. So strides are being made. There are apps, there are web platforms out there that are putting that food to good use. Okay, so we're probably not seeing a lot of that here in, a more rural area, smaller towns. We don't. Although, I say that our food bank puts food to really good use. We get food donated from a lot of different sources, and sometimes from restaurants or from farmers, and that food is not going to waste. So even in a smaller community, there are ways, if we reach out to each other, and social media is a great way to reach out and say, hey, I'm going to have this food left over. Can anybody use it? Let's just not waste it. Just think ahead. Okay, this one just blew me away. I never thought about this or even knew this was a thing. 3D printed food. Did you know about this? I should know about this. I have a son that's totally into 3D printing, and I don't think he's ever printed food, but I'm going to have to tell him that this is something you can do. So this technology stands to disrupt the food industry on at least some level. Okay, we're talking 3D printed candy made of pure sugar. How do you come up with a printer that prints sugar? That's just crazy. Hershey's can actually print chocolate. And how about reducing carbon emissions by printing meatless meat? NASA used a 3D printer to make a pizza, possibly a step forward for astronaut meals in space. 3D printer. I don't get it. Technology just blows me away sometimes, because even the things, made out of plastic, what I normally see a 3D printer being used for, it's still amazing the things that can be printed. And now we're talking about printing food. So who knows what's coming next? Here's something that most of us are probably familiar with: access to recipes. So bringing it now down to the home level, we have access like never before. I feel bad because I have Grandma's cookbook, but it is dusty. I don't even know the last time I opened it, because you just go online. You go to like allrecipes.com and there's how to cook anything you might want. Pinterest, yeah. Anything you want. I'm sure I have boards of healthy cooking, boards of cooking for the family, boards of things I'm not allowed to ever eat, but I'm going to pin it anyway because it's food porn and I just want to look at it. I don't know. It's just incredible the way that access has changed the way we prepare and cook food. And you can always go on YouTube and they'll show you how to do it. So if you don't know how to chop, mince, puree, whatever, all those things that I have to admit, I really don't know how to do a lot of those things, but there's somebody on YouTube who will show you how. So that's very cool. Technology can be used to help promote local food. This whole farm to fork movement, have you heard of this? It's very strong right now. People want to know where their food is coming from. Makes sense. So there's websites like Farmago that offer a place for people to find local harvest from farmers in their region. And they're creating sort of like an online farmers market community. Farm to Table is a web service out of Austin that distributes locally grown produce, grass-fed beef, and cage-free chickens to restaurants, independent grocery stores, cafeterias. There are profiles of the farmers, the farms they tend, detailed descriptions. Like, it's really cool. They're just putting our technology to use to get local food accessible for you and me. So, gotta dig that. There's so many more ways that our food is being influenced by technology. And I think for the most part, it's pretty good, right? I mean, we have access to information that we've never had before. You know, we can see the nutritional information of anything we might want to eat. You know, I talk about planning ahead, like say you're going to go out to dinner. You can look up the menu online. You can decide ahead of time what you're going to order. You can make informed decisions because we are now armed with information that just didn't used to exist. You know, sometimes we can even order before we even get to the restaurant. You know, I mean, I do that at Starbucks and go ahead and send that order in and have it ready right when you pull up. I heard McDonald's is also doing that. I really don't get the point. It's already fast food. So I don't get it, but I don't go there either. So except, you know, I will ride my bike to Brady for an ice cream cone. You know, I will. That's different, but I'm not ordering it ahead of time. Anyway, I digress. So let's look at the way technology is changing the way we play. Here's the part where we get to have some fun. And unfortunately, COVID has been a big player in this. Now, of course, technology was already starting to take a big role for a long time, but COVID has really changed the way we work out. You know, for a while there, all the gyms had to close down. And I know if you tried to buy any kind of sporting goods, weights for your home gym, bicycles, nothing. You couldn't get anything. Everybody ran out and bought all of that stuff to figure out how to bring it home. Well, technology has played a huge role in that, in the at-home workouts with interactive studios, things like Peloton, of course. Mirror Fitness. Have you heard of Mirror Fitness? It looks like, I mean, it's just a mirror and you can see your reflection in the mirror, but you can also see the instructor in the mirror. And so you can follow along as if somebody's standing right there leading the class. I don't know how I feel about that. It sounds super cool, but also maybe almost a little bit creepy. Like, how do you know for sure they can't see you back? I don't know. I don't know if I trust that one, but hey, give it a try. Let me know what you think. I would really be curious to see it in person. Also, Nordic Track apparently is now doing interactive studios. So, and basically what that is, like with Nordic Track or Peloton, you just have a giant screen and the instructor is right there in front of you. So you're in this class setting, but it's all remote. In fact, I know when COVID shut down their studios, before that, people were allowed to come into the classes. And so you're watching, you see a whole room full of people riding their bikes. Well, now it's just the instructor. They don't let people in there anymore. But it really didn't change anything for, 99.9% of the people using it, because they were never going to go there and do the class in person. It's just for the benefit of being able to do it remotely. Then apps, which also still... And I don't mean to keep pushing Peloton, but you do know I love it because their app has not only, if you have the bike, of course, that's on the app. If they have a treadmill, that's on the app. But they also have yoga, meditation, outdoor walking and running, a lot of different classes that are on that app that you can do. And they're not alone. There's tons of fitness and wellness apps that you can use. Map My Run or Map My Ride. If you're out and about and you want to know how far you're going, how fast you're going, technology is going to tell you. There's one called the Fit app, and it's spelled FIIT. This is the Netflix of fitness apps. Anything and everything you could want is on there. And I think there are about 60 classes that you can take for free. And then if you want more than that, then of course they have a subscription price. And then there's just hundreds and hundreds of classes, anything you can imagine. So that is a really cool app. There's an app called Headspace. That's for mindfulness. There's an app called Sleep Spikes. I'm having the hardest time talking tonight. Sleep Cycle that monitors your sleep. Let's get a drink of water. Oh, there's an app for monitoring your water consumption. Staying hydrated. There will be an app for that. More technology. Fitness trackers. Oh, look, and I'm not even wearing mine today. Fitbit, Apple Watch. Incredible ways to get information that we just never had that before, and whether you just want to be aware of how many steps you're taking every day, the awareness makes such a big difference. You think you're walking a lot, and then you start paying attention to how many steps that little thing on your wrist is telling you, and you realize, oh, okay, I sat a lot more today than I realized. Or it'll even remind you. If you set it up to where it reminds you every hour, it'll tell you it's time to get up and move around. And just those little things can make such a big difference. But they've, of course, taken it way beyond that. I had to get a new Fitbit actually recently when I was doing the triathlon training because I needed one that would count my strokes while swimming. So had to be waterproof, obviously, and have a swim section built into it. But Apple Watch even has an electrocardiogram built in, so it will give you detailed heart health information. Isn't that incredible? What will they think of next? It's amazing. Technology is making us play differently with things like online or even virtual reality coaching. Okay, so virtual reality coaching would be really interesting because I'm picturing people wearing their VR headsets and doing their workouts, which I'm sure that would work really well. But even without going quite to that level, online coaching is a great way if you're interested in especially with weight training, where maybe you would like to have a personal trainer, but either you live somewhere where that's not available or the hourly rate just isn't within your budget. An online trainer can be a really good alternative to that. I used one for a couple of years and she was amazing. So I would send her pictures. I had to put on a swimsuit and take a picture, front, side, back, every week. And take measurements, weight, and send that to her every week. And she would also ask me how I'm feeling emotionally and how that was playing in with how well I was following the program that she would send. And then she would tell me exactly what exercises to do, and she would send them to me with links to little YouTube videos that showed how to do it. I mean, talk about technology in action here. And the food, she would tell me exactly what I needed to be eating. And we did that back and forth online for 2 years. And that was actually when I competed in bodybuilding. It was through an online coach, not even in person. I met her once in person. Whole time. So that is just a really cool way to do that. And you can get fantastic results without having to meet somebody one-on-one, unless you're the kind of person who needs the in-person accountability and somebody right there going, come on, I got to push you. And some of us need that too. That's okay. That's okay. What's important is knowing what you need and what's right for you and doing what it takes. And tonight, taking advantage of all this crazy amount of technology. So I found some cool gadgets. I wish I had like a show and tell of all these cool gadgets, but I found just a list of some cool gadgets that are helping us play smarter, not harder. There is a smart hydration cup that's keeping track of how much water you're drinking. There's a jump rope that has a tracker built into that. And it actually has like an LED display. So every time the rope goes around, it shows you your stats. That's just crazy. But jumping rope, that's fun. That's playing, right? When we were kids, we didn't think about our heart rate or our calories burned while we're jumping rope. We just did it for fun. There's a posture trainer. This is interesting. So how good is your posture? Do you notice or even pay attention to that? Well, there's a gadget that measures it. It's called Upright Go and helps make sure that you're maintaining good posture. Then there are gadgets like smart scales or this one thing called Sculpt, and it measures your body fat percentage and analyzes which muscle groups are needing attention. It's pretty interesting. Oh my gosh, this is going on my Christmas list. The NutriBullet Smart Blender will actually tell you the exact nutritional values of any smoothie that you create. What? I know. How does it do that? I mean, do you have to put in all that information, or can it detect a blueberry versus whatever, chocolate? I don't know. What are you putting in your smoothie? So that is fascinating that it can tell you, because sometimes those smoothies that we're making can add up to a lot of calories depending what all you are putting in there. So it's not a bad idea to know how much that's adding up, especially if you're putting a lot of fruit, what kind of yogurt you're using. These little things can make a big difference. So wireless headphones. I mean, everybody seems like is using those nowadays. Now, I have found, and if you know of any that don't fall out of your ears while running, please let me know, because the little earbuds that people use that aren't connected to any kind of wire, those fall out of my ears when I'm running. I don't think there's one that exists that's not going to fall out. But if you know of any, please tell me, because I would dig trying that out. But for just like being in the gym or going for a walk or whatever, non-jumping thing you're doing, the little wireless headphones, great technology. You can have your little trainer right there in your ear, the app that you're listening to telling you what to do, or your favorite music with a service where you can choose your own playlist. Yeah. The more, like, it's never ending. The more you think about it, the more technology is playing in to our playtime. So, okay. And the last one, this one it's a little over the top. Smart socks. So there is a pair of socks you can buy for the low price of $199. And they will give you data on how long you're walking or running, how many steps, calories burned, altitude, speed, distance, like all the things that these apps are doing for you, or your Fitbit, your Apple Watch. A pair of socks. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That seems a little ridiculous to me, but hey, you know what? There's something for everybody. And if it makes you smile and makes you laugh and makes you play more and play harder and move your body, then it's worth it, right? That's the idea. Get out and have some fun. There's so much good. There's so many good things out there, but also there's the bad side of technology, which I don't have to tell you. We all know that there's a downside to all the technology in our lives. It can be addictive. It has replaced face-to-face interaction in so many ways that it's almost as if life is what happens while your cell phone is charging. Otherwise, if it's in our hand, we're behind that screen. We're taking pictures of it. We're taking video of it. We're posting it. But are we living it? Yeah, it can be a real problem in our lives. And how do we cut the cord? How do you change it? I mean, we all do it. I don't know anybody who completely doesn't interact with technology, especially cell phones and tablets and the things that we use every day. So let's have some strategies for cutting the cord, even if just for a little bit, just to remind yourself that you can. You'll be okay. So what about like a tech-free retreat? There are retreats, actually sponsored retreats that you can go on where there's no tech, there is no service. They force you to get away. Okay, that's one idea. Or you can DIY that and do your own tech-free retreat and maybe lock those phones away. If you have children, they might fight you on this. I have witnessed this. They don't always enjoy this idea or think it's great fun like parents do. But the thing is, it's not a punishment, and I think if, maybe you say, maybe start with something smaller than a weekend. Maybe start with a meal time or we're going to go walk the dog for the next 20 minutes and we're not taking our phones. So you can start small, but just let them know we're just putting them away and we're going to try this. And then I feel like eventually it will become something that everybody looks forward to. Not at first. It's hard at first. Change is hard, and we're used to having that phone right in front of us all the time. And us being us grown-ups, us as kids, us, everybody. We've all gotten so attached to that. How many times do you hear somebody, oh, wait, I forgot my phone? Because, can't do anything if I don't have my phone with me. So it is a valuable lesson that digital detox is a gift and not a punishment. So for parents out there who are really struggling with this and feeling like we can't put the genie back in the bottle, once it's out and our kids are addicted and they're on it all the time, there's just no way to stop it. But we can still be a good example. We can still dictate some time when it's not appropriate, because those are things that they need to learn for their entire lives. I mean, we had to learn that too. You don't take your phone, or you at least turn it off if you go into a movie or a job interview or an important meeting. I mean, at some point, we all have to learn those boundaries so we can teach those boundaries to our children as well. But it's an uphill battle. Technology's everywhere we look, everywhere we turn. So if you do need a little extra help in that department, there are some apps. Ironically enough, there are apps for getting away from technology. Does that make sense? There's one called Digital Detox, and this one is only on Android, but it lets you completely disable your phone for however long you choose. Then there's one, the same concept. It's called Sabbath Manifesto, and that one will work on iPhone and Android. So if you want to know more about these, or just you can't remember the names, you can always message me on Facebook or Instagram at eatplaylive.andy, and I can send you the links to these, and or maybe I'll post some of these on my page. I went through a lot of things tonight, so I probably can't post all of them. But if there's something that jumped out at you and you want to know more about it, message me. Also, let me know what works for you. How do you get away from technology? How do you break free from that? Is there anything you've tried, whether it be for yourself or someone in your family, that's worked awesomely? Share that. Let's get it out there. So my challenge for you this week, 2 hours technology free, totally technology free, 2 hours, not while you're sleeping. That doesn't count. 2 hours, whether you go for a walk, go for a bike ride. Actually, Thursday nights are usually my kind of accidental technology free night, because I silence my phone during this show because I'm recording it on Facebook Live, and I always forget to turn it back on. So all of a sudden I'm like, wow, it's been such a nice, quiet evening. I don't even know how that happened. Well, it's because my phone was off. But you know what? Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. So, all right. Until next week, I hope you enjoy your technology. I hope you eat, play, and live in all the best ways possible. And I thank you so much for joining me and being part of my tribe. I look forward to this time every week, and I hope you do too. So until next week, have a great